Did your marriage get bad and then worse and then kept getting, or was there pockets of reconciliation and hope only to go back down again?
Roller coasters.
Sometimes I'm not sure what's worse.
No, and then you think, oh, this is it, and finally there's just going to be this peace, and then there was something else, you know, and then it was constant, and then there were a couple, I don't know, there was a year where everything was like, I felt like all of hell was after our family. All of hell was after Jason and I, to just rip everything apart. And to be honest, I feel like God really does test you. Everyone's going to be tested in their life in one way or another. And I feel like God allowed, you know, there's times where he just allows, and to see how you handle, how faithful, like just puts you to the test. And I felt like,
I wish you didn't trust me so much.
But it says in the scripture, he scourges every son he receives. Oh my gosh,
like I started resenting and getting mad at God. Like, why don't you let up? I can't breathe. Like, I'm trying, I'm fighting. Like, you keep knocking me down. And I was just like exhausted.
If you could perceive yourself growing in virtue, like we said earlier, and this is true in my own life now, I can think of different things that are going on. If I could perceive the point to this, or if I could see, I'm getting more patient, then maybe I could deal with it. But when it just feels like nothing good is coming of this or will ever come of this, then it just feels meaningless.
And it's like, okay, our kids are having issues. Jason and I are having issues. They thought I had breast cancer. Like, even my body wasn't functioning right. Like, everything was like falling apart around me, right? And I just kind of stepped back. I stopped doing some ministry. I just stepped back because I'm like, oh no, like I need to step back. And I wasn't taking on speaking engagements. I pulled away from just podcasts and just like everything, social media. I kind of was like, I don't care. Like, God is like, obviously I need to deal with myself. I need to deal with what's going on, my health, just our marriage, everything. And I'm just like, what is happening? And everything was like this wrecking ball out of nowhere, because everything's going so good and like things are flourishing and there's so much fruit and things are happening. But slowly in that, I think there's a disorder that people have to be so careful with, of how things are structured, like God, your husband, your kids, and everything else. And slowly, because you're doing so much good and you see the good, you see the fruit, you don't see the cracks in the foundation, the chink in the armor that's getting bigger and bigger. And then you start, like, things just start crumbling, but there's so much fruit, there's so much good. And then it's just like, but I'm falling apart. That's not, like, my own temple's crumbling, but yet everything else is being built up. That's disorder, right? And so there's a time of just stepping back and like, okay, I am having massive issues with my husband, but is it my husband or is it me? Because I got to a point where I didn't want to pray for Jason. I was so angry. I was so hurt. I was just like, oh, I'm just fed up. And like the level of the resentment I allowed, that's the thing. I allowed it. The devil only goes so far, and he'll go as far as you let him. But those little things that creep in, the unforgiveness, the resentment, the hurt, the anger, the things you want to hold on to, the things you should apologize for, that you're like, screw it, he's not sorry, so why should I be? You know, I'm sick of being the one always apologizing. I'm tired of it. Like, I'm over the ego and pride. And I kept telling myself these things when it's like, well, what about your own ego and pride? You know, like, you know, it's hard. But at the same time, there were real hurts, there were real wounds. And it's like, but I knew at some point, and thank God for the women at the church that just kind of slowly became friends with, because I think I was so isolated as well. Like, I was isolated, and then you slowly get taken out, right? And I allowed myself to be, but I was so private. Like, how could we not be private, you know? Because we are public, we are on stage. People have this on your pedestal, and you don't want to affect them because God has them on their own journey. But at the same time, we are broken people. We are sinners. All of us are. And it's very silly to say that, oh, well, we're not having our own struggles, we're not having our own problems, and I have all the answers and we're perfect. You know, it's a bunch of crap. It's like everybody has problems, but I wasn't prepared, and I didn't want to be public about it. But these women at my church, and Andrea and Kristen, and they just like, they were so good, and they just kind of I let them in, and I didn't have really good friends that I could trust, but they became these prayer warriors. And just this Ashley, who like actually was like a fan of us. Like, that was hard. Like, okay, I had to be tell her what's going on. And these 3 women that literally ministered to me and prayed with me. It was so powerful, letting good, holy women in to help me, because I realized I was in a serious spiritual battle, and you cannot fight the evil one on your own. Like, you sometimes, like, you're in battles that you can like overcome on your own, but there are battles where you need troops with you. You need people coming and helping you fight that battle and carrying you when you're wounded sometimes. And that's what those women did for me so beautifully. And they're still there. And I know those women, they go to bat for me any day. And like spiritually, I can call them up and be like, this is happening. And boom, they're there, they're praying. And you need people like that in your life. And it's silly to say like, oh, well, I'm going to get a counselor, and I'm going to read this latest book, and I'm going to go on Instagram and see, and I'm going to talk to ChatGPT, and he's going to help me fix this problem. No, some things are straight up spiritual warfare, and you need to wield the weapons of the church in order to combat with things coming after you. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. And I got into that mindset, not only for my family, my husband, but also for myself, and realizing, okay, I've got some serious weaknesses and brokenness that I need to overcome as well in all of this mess, right?
Hallow is the #1 Catholic prayer and meditation app to deepen your spiritual life anytime, anywhere. Go to hallow.com/MattFrad to get the first 3 months for free.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, my wife's advice, we had a couple come up to us in Assisi, and they just happened to be there, and they were engaged, and she said, what advice do you have for us? And she gave some good advice. She said, always, when you get into an argument, you, talking to the woman, always call a woman who will take his side, within reason. And you as a fella, always call someone who's going to take her side. And I think that's good advice. I mean, if I am struggling in my marriage and I go to a fella who speaks ill of my wife, like we're done forever. Goodbye, have a good life.
Yeah.
So did you have men in your life that you could turn to about this? Or?
Not for a long, long time. It was just, I felt like if I was starting to share these things, I'd be betraying her, in the sense that this is really what's going on. And, her desire for privacy and, the respect of her own name. I thought if I tell anybody how hard this is, then, it's not going to go, it's going to create more conflict between us, because she'll want to know, who did you talk to? What did you say? I'm like, so I'm just I'll deal with it. And so I stuffed it for a good decade and a half, before I really started talking to anybody about it, other than just a confessor, a spiritual director. And then started to find kind of my band of brothers, of guys like Devin and Chris and like Brian Butler in particular, where he would, oh my goodness, he would just leave me voice memos first thing in the morning. Hey, I got Psalm whatever for you today. And he'd just read it there and say a prayer over the voice memo and click. Just like day to day to day, just checking in like a brother, like I had never really had one before. So I was able to discover, how much more progress you can make when you're not trying to go alone. What do they say? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go as a team.
Do you wish earlier than you did that, do you wish you had have asked Crystalina for, hey, because I get it, right? I mean, you don't want to disclose all of your spouse's dysfunction to someone without their permission. Do you wish that you had have asked her, like, I need to talk to someone about this because I need to process what's going on. Can I talk to Brian? Can I?
Well, I think we had, and she, I don't know that I think she might have been okay with me going to like a counselor kind of thing, but not talking to just random guys.
You feel so exposed. I mean, I remember when I was struggling with pornography and my wife's like, I need to talk to someone about this. And I remember being like, yeah, okay, you can talk to this person about it. I trust her, you trust her.
Yeah.
I think that was really helpful for her. Otherwise, she's got to suffer in silence, And meanwhile, I can tell whoever I want. I'm getting kind of comfort and consolation from good men in my life who are encouraging me and that sort of thing. Meanwhile, she's suffering and no one's asking what she should be doing about it.
And again, I was coming from a place of more conflict avoidance, of just like, I don't want to, there's enough rough waters here. I don't want to ruffle more feathers. I don't want to create more conflict. We have more than enough. So I'm just going to, but then as I kind of matured out of that and realized, okay, no, I need to be willing as a man to create conflict when it needs to happen. And so as I stepped into that new place of masculinity, it did create more conflict, but it was a necessary in healing conflict. Because they say that the truth might hurt, but it'll never harm. And so being able to create a healing conflict was something that I didn't know how to do as a young husband, of just like, no, I need to be able to just tell you, no, yeah, this does need to happen. And there's going to be a conflict and we're going to work through it. I didn't have I think that level of masculine development going into marriage, that I would be willing to create a conflict for a greater good. It was no, the good is no conflict. That's the place, and whatever's going to get me there is the temperament that I need to hold on to. And so it's been a journey for not only me, but for her to see this new part of my own development of being like, no, it's okay, let's have a conflict. Let's go after this and we can resolve it and work through it.
Thank you very much for watching that Pints with Aquinas clip. If you like it, do me a favor, click like and subscribe, and please offer a Hail Mary for the work of Pints with Aquinas and all the people we're trying to reach. God bless you.